known bluegrass artist, and we're putting on a event called Fish Stock, where a lot of teams maybe would use that for a fundraiser for their team, but we're trying to we're giving half the proceeds to the food shelf.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's kind of that's the stuff we like to do in River Falls. Be a really positive influence in the community. And that's just something, I guess I personally believe, that if you have an organization, and it doesn't matter if it's a men's baseball team or if you're talking about your Girl Scout troop or you're talking about any organization, with a group of people, you always have the power to be something positive for your local community, and you're not doing it right if you don't take that advantage of that, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, that's a great take, and I hope the teachers that teach my kids have that perspective too. I really like that
Absolutely.
perspective.
Oh, I don't tell my students that. I just tell them to get to work.
Get your homework done. That's your first priority. So, what position do you play?
I've been catching the last few years, but we had a guy come down defect, I guess, from Hudson to catch for us this summer, so I get to go back out to the outfield where I belong.
Gotcha.
And I won't be quite as sore when I get home.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that move, and so is my wife, to not hear me whining so much when I come home.
Right.
Josh Eidem is on with us right now. He's the author of a book called Beyond the Fence. Josh, we do want to talk a little bit more about the book. I haven't had a chance to look at it at all, so give us a little brief synopsis of the storyline, maybe a couple of the key characters, and where the inspiration may have came from, or something like that. Give us some insights into the book.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it follows there's two main characters really that it follows. One, the narrator, we call him, his name is Lance Chatworth, but he's just called the Fan. And the inspiration for that came from a guy that we knew around our league that was known as the Fan. He wasn't actually a player, but he was around all the time, and nobody actually really knew his name. We just knew him as the Fan, and he was there. The other character is Kevin Griffith, and he is, so these are two players on the Spring Valley Hawks, and more or less it follows through their career over the course of 30 years, and each third of the book checks in 10 years from each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first third of the book is, when Kevin is just joining the team, he's a rookie, he's learning the rules, learning the ropes, getting sucked into the town ball life. The middle of the book is, what we call a town ball veteran, which I guess I would be. I'm 30, but when you're 30, you're a veteran as far as town ball goes. And then the last third is, 40 years old, and Kevin's kind of trying to decide whether to hang it up or keep going or whatever, and fighting that battle. And it takes place in the context of a tournament in Plum City, and if anybody out there has been to it, you're probably chuckling right now. It's a lot of fun. It's where town ball digresses a a little bit into the realm of softball for the weekend. But it's such a unifying thing that we have down there for guys to get together who don't see each other the rest of the year, to build that town ball culture, that camaraderie between guys over the course of that weekend. And so, of course, it's a little bit of a gong show. It leads to a lot of the kind of funny stuff that happens in the book. So we check in with the Plum City tournament every 10 years with these guys and see where their lives are at.
Very cool.
Try to show the progression of a character over 30 years, which is probably the toughest thing to do, but I feel like I pulled it off at the end, hopefully.
Perfect. Yes, I think so too. Did you have somebody in your past that kind of helped you understand that you have a talent for writing and really encourage you? Maybe not a family member, but somebody that kind of helped you along and maybe pushed you that way.
Yeah, definitely. There's lots from. Obviously, there's family stuff where my grandma was encouraging me to write when I was a kid. She loved reading my stories, or at least she claimed to. But I had a teacher when I was a junior and senior in high school, down at Rochester Mail, an English teacher named Jeff Swaygarden. And I had decided, I was going to go to UW River Falls, I was going to be a journalism major, and he knew all this, but he still came to me, pulled me aside during that spring, I believe, of my senior year, and he just said, Josh, whatever you decide to do, don't forget about writing, that you can write, you really can write, And at the time, I remember thinking, well, Mr. Swigard, I'm going to be a journalism major, and I think I said that. And he says, well, I just want to say. So I don't know if he knew I would change my major. I don't know what he knew. I need to give him a call. But what he said, for whatever reason, always stuck with me.
Cool.
So when I was at River Falls and I changed my major to teaching, I still remember telling, you get these crazy characters too on college ball clubs, and I remember telling my teammates and my roommates, like, hey, I'm going to write about this someday, and I think they believe me, but I don't know if now they believe me for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You'll have to get that guy a signed copy right away.
Yep. Yep, he's on my short list for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Josh Eidem, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show this morning here on the Northwoods Sports Report, and obviously you tell us again where we can pick up the book out there, Beyond the Fence.
Yeah, definitely. AspenCreekPublishing.com is where you can, where you can read some excerpts of it, those 4 chapters, and then you can find it on Amazon.com. The Kindle store too. I made sure to do both both a print version and an ebook version too. So. All
right. Well, good luck with the book, sir, and good luck with the Fighting Fish as well this season.
Well, thanks, though. Hopefully, we'll see some of you guys at the finals, right?
Absolutely.
And have a great rest of your Monday. For sure.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you very much. That was Josh Eidem right there, an author from the local area. Don't forget, before the end of the show, we're going to be giving away Twins tickets. We haven't exactly decided when that's going to happen. Jesse and Bob back with you here on the Northwood Sports Report. Bob, that was a great interview. It was a lot of fun. I always love to hear from someone who's doing something that they're passionate about.
Yeah, doesn't that kind of rub off on you? I really enjoyed Josh. I thought he did a great job. And I have read, I have to admit, I haven't read the whole thing, but it is an intriguing book. It's a good book. And if you want to buy that book, you can go to Amazon.com, search for it. The name of the book is Beyond the Fence, or you can go to our website, redrockonair.com, and we've got it linked. You can just go right through there and pick it up. It's cheap. It's under $15, so go ahead and pick it up. It's a good read.
Absolutely. I think it's also cool when guys like ourselves get a little bit older and maybe a little long in the tooth. We still have this belief in ourselves that we can regain those glory years of yesterday. And I know every fall it happens to me. I was a big football player coming up, not a big football player, but I loved it. It was big for me in my life. And when I start to see the leaves turning colors in the fall, I just get that itch to play again. I wasn't much of a baseball player, but I'm guessing these guys who play town ball, they feel the same way about the spring as I do in the fall.
Well, he hit on it because it is your chance at glory. Like my little pond is church league softball. That's all I am involved with. I mean, I used to be in honkers. I used to be, play in the bar leagues and whatever. But now all I have is church league softball. But it's still like, when I am batting, that is my moment to shine. I mean, if I hit a home run, it's like at Wrigley Field for me. I mean, that's the little amount of glory that I get to feel. My high school days are well in the past, but there is that, and I think that's true for a lot of guys. I mean, that's our one chance. You get to hit the home run and take a look at your wife, give her a little wink, and then that's glory days defined, I suppose. But that's he's right. I mean, I don't know if it's just a guy thing or what, but it's true. It's kind of that's our glory is fading, but we try to capture it in any way we can.
Yeah, for the guys that are in that moment right now, the players that are out there on the high school fields, the guys that we're going to be covering here this spring. Trust Bob and I when we say this. Enjoy every single moment. When you're out there for practice, don't be like, oh man, another day of practice, because it really is over just like that. It's over in the flash of a second, and you're looking back on it 5 years, 10 years, 15 years later, and you'd love to just go out there with those old friends of yours that you're trying to reconnect with on Facebook and throw the ball around another time. And that brings us to the next thing that we're going to talk about here on the Northwood Sports Report. It is high school season, Bob, and we're going to be having a bunch of baseball here on WXCX.
Yeah, and don't forget about the girls.